Being able to dominate PSG in Ligue 1 is fairly impossible, but hold your horses. We've got the perfect tactic for it. Welcome back to the channel, you beautiful people. Today we have a diamond tactic. It's going to dominate Ligue 1. But before we show you the results that we got in Ligue 1 with Lyon, by the way, I will show you some results that we got halfway during the season with Napoli, so you can see how good of a tactic this really can be. So we're going to look at the competitions in the Serie A. We've so far played 16 games. We've won 12. We've drawn 4, but we've lost no games so far. Victor Osimhen is the top goal scorer with 16 goals. And we can see Politano with an average rating of 7.76, which is going to be key information because both strikers are able to perform. So for Napoli, you can clearly see Victor Osimhen and Politano are the two strikers, and you can see that we are unbeaten on 40 points, level on points with Inter Milan. But that is a result so far that we've got with Napoli. You can see that we are performing fairly well. If we go for the team overview, you can see that we scored the most goals. 49 goals have been scored, but we've also conceded the fewest with the most clean sheets. 10 clean sheets in 16 games. But let's see the results that we got at Lyon. So the Ligue 1 final results, you can see Lyon are on top of Ligue 1. We played 38, we won 34 games, we drew 3, we lost 1, and guess what? We didn't lose a single game against PSG. We are unbeaten, we won 1, and we also drew at their stadium. In the Conference League, we got knocked out in the quarterfinal. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I couldn't register any players. So to even get that far in the Conference League, I mean, we done really well because we could only play under 19s, and basically the reserve players, as you can see here. Eli Wissa scoring goals. He plays for Lyon too. He's not great at all. Sekou Ligue, again, somebody that's not great, 19-year-old. He plays for the Lyon 2 or the second team, Yanis Laga. So in the Conference League, we couldn't play any of the first team. I mean, I think Maxime Coqueret played, I think, and Florent De Silva. There's 1 or 2 players that got to play, but generally the first team didn't get to play in the Conference League. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I just couldn't register players for some odd reason. It could be the database that I have downloaded. In the Coupe de France, we got knocked out in the semi-final by Bordeaux. But if we look at the results in a little bit more detail, because we're not going to spend time on this page, we are going to be looking at the tactic, and then we are going to play a game to see how the tactic plays out. But you can see Lyon scored 120 goals. We had the most shots for, the fewest shots against, most tackles won, but the most dribbles made, we aren't even in the top 8. Most clean sheets, Lyon with 21, fewest conceded, Lyon with 24. Now looking at the top goal scorers, Moussa Dembele 35 goals, Lacazette 29. Like I told you earlier, the strikers are performing in this tactic, which is of course good to know. Leo Dubois, he's got the most assists. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. Hossam Aouar's got 14 assists, and Youssouf Kone has 10. Dembele with the most shots. For the most man of the match awards, Dembele joined with Mbappe, but Reece Healy as well with 9. Hossam Aouar with the most key passes. Leo Dubois also in that list. Pass completion, we don't have. Oh, we do. We have Damien De Silva on 97%. Leo Dubois has also got the most tackles. He's clearly a very key player. Youssouf Kone as well. So both fullbacks and both strikers are key players to the system. Most dribbles made, nobody in the top 8, but for the most clean sheets, we have Anthony Lopez. So the top goal scorers in this Lyon squad were, of course, Moussa Dembele. He's got 40 in 40 games. I mean, he's got no sub appearances. He's just played 40 games, or 40 times 40 starts, that's it, and he scored 40 goals. Lacazette with 31 in 38 starts. We got Lucas Paqueta on 15 goals in 39 starts. Looking at the highest assists or the most creative players, we got Leo Dubois with 19, Hossam Aouar with 14, Youssouf Kone with 12 assists, Ryan Cherki with 11 assists, Tolisso with 11, and Moussa Dembele with 10 assists. You can see Moussa Dembele was also a key player in his last 5 games. He got an average rating of 8.40. Attacking wise, and as you can see, compared to the Ligue 1 average, Lyon, well, are performing absolutely fantastically. We got 3.16 goals per game, 2.54 expected goals per game, with 19 shots per game. Well, if you round that up, that's technically 20 shots per game, with a 47% shots on target ratio. Going forward, we are very good. Defensively, conceded per game, we are outperforming the Ligue 1 average of 0.63 conceded per game, which is of course very good. Expected goals against per game, 0.9 1.98 again, better than the Ligue 1 average. And tackles attempted per game, we are attempting a lot of tackles, but we also got a very respectable tackles won ratio. Now, like I said, we did dominate PSG. We didn't just beat them, we didn't just win the Ligue 1, we dominated Ligue 1 and we dominated PSG, as you can see here. So at the Groupama Stadium, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, you can see we absolutely smashed PSG 3 goals to 0. Anthony Lopez got man of the match. Well, he didn't get man of the match, but he got an 8.0 rating. I'm not exactly sure why, because their XG weren't even at 1 and it only had 4 shots on target. Their keeper actually saved more shots than our goalkeeper did, and they didn't really have much to do. Well, our keeper didn't have much to do and their chances weren't that great. But let's look at some of these goals before we jump into the tactic and how we created it. So this is the first goals here. Kone on the ball, Boateng bringing the ball forward. Look at him driving. Lucas Paqueta on the ball. Lacazette linking up well with Dembele. Oh, that's a nice third man run there. Hossam Aouar buries the ball against Keylor Navas, I believe the goalkeeper was. Here's Coqueret on the ball now. Boateng. Correct, now he's going to play it into Paqueta's feet, and what a screamer, what a goal from Lucas Paqueta. Hopefully Arsenal sign him in real life. Here's Castello Jr. now. I mean, we've got a lot of youngsters in this team as well. Hossam Aouar with a great ball, plays it into Dembele, cheekily lobs the goalkeeper, and that there wraps up the goals in this game where it was Lyon 3, PSG 0. But that's the results. How did we create this tactic? Let's dig in. Let's dig into that. Now, usually when you pick a team, you kind of have a look at the squad and then you work out what formation you want to go with. Well, if you're proactive, really proactive, you kind of know the system that you're going to go with and you kind of fit the players into that system. But majority of the times, you might just pick a team, you have a look at the best players and then you work out the best formation for that team. But I already know that I want to use a 4-4-2 diamond, and I already know that Lyon is a good team. They don't really have any standout wingers, but they are very good in essential areas. I mean, just look at the midfield. They got Lucas Paqueta, Tolisso, Cacaret and Hossam Aouar. So playing in the middle may benefit Lyon. They also got Romain Favre as well in case we need to bring someone in. But another way you can do this as well is that I like to sort out my team by the ability, and then you can kind of just fit your players into the squad. So Moussa Dembele we could just put up front. Leo De Boer, of course, the best right back in the team. Hossam Aouar, he could possibly play attacking midfield or in central midfield. We're just going to put him in central midfield for the time being. Jerome Boateng at the back. The goalkeeper goes in goal. Alexandre Lacazette up front with Moussa Dembele. Tolisso in central midfield with Hossam Aouar. Lucas Paqueta can now play behind the 2 strikers. We also got a Cambi now. He can play up top, of course. René Adelaide can play on the flanks, but he can also play in central midfield. Tete is possibly the only out-and-out winger that is in this team, possibly. So if we need to go to a winger, which we won't, so Tete he needs to sort out his roles and he can learn how to play up top. Yusuf Kone at the back, looking for another central defender. Damien De Silva in for now, and now looking for our DM. We can put in Thiago Mendes or Maxime Coqueret. I'm just going to put Maxime because he is one of my favorite Lyon players. And that there already, we have sorted out our best 11 if we sort out the positions now. And here you can see our best 11 in our diamond formation. Now, before we get stuck into the team instructions and the player roles and all of that goodness, what are the pros and cons of using a 4-4-2 diamond? Let's check it out. So we do have this lovely PDF in front of our screens, in front of our faces, which was created by Russell Pope. I will drop the link to this PDF in the description as well. So when you guys are creating tactics and you want to see the strength and the weaknesses of certain formations, you could just come to this PDF and just have a look. But looking at the strengths of this 4-4-2 diamond, the defense is protected by a deeper midfield 6 who is able to screen the back 4 laterally. The system promotes a numerical superiority in the center of the pitch. It can create a 4 versus 3 or even a 4 versus 2 central overloads. The wider central midfielders in the diamond can shuttle into the half spaces and wider areas to counter the risk of the fullback becoming isolated in a 2v1 against the opposition. The number 10 in this system is an important role which acts as a natural link from the midfield to the forwards, and the 2 forward players can match up and play 1v1 against a team playing 2 central defenders. Now looking looking at the cons or the weaknesses, the fullbacks can become overloaded 2 versus 1 if the wide central midfielders doesn't shuttle across into the wider areas quick enough. If a central midfielder shuttles into the wider areas, pockets of space can appear centrally if the other central midfielders don't react off this movement. Naturally, the system makes it harder to penetrate out wide compared to systems that operate with a wide midfielders, for an example a 4-3-3 of course, and the attacking phase relies a lot on the number 10. If the 10 isn't effective, the forwards can become isolated from the midfield. So that is some of the pros and some of the cons of this 4-4-2 diamond. Of course, we're going to take in some of those pros and cons, make sure we avoid some of the cons, but also really focus on some of those pros. Now, when it comes to building an attack from a deeper area in this 4-4-2 diamond, we can see the key factors. Now, we're not going to look at all of these key factors because we're not even necessarily playing out from the defense in the Football Manager tactic, but there are some key bulletproof points here. Bulletproof points. There are some key bullet points here. This setup promotes a system of passing angles, triangles that can shift the opposition out of position and create areas to exploit. Every player should have at least 2 passing options when in the build-up phase. The outside CMs in the diamond can operate in the half space to receive. This can draw the opposition central midfielders wider, leaving space centrally for the number 10 to drop into. Now, this is something that we're really going to look at. Our 2 wider central midfielders are 2 Mazzal as well in one system, because there's 2 systems when you play against the bigger teams away, but in the main system there are 2 Mazzalas, which looks to operate in a half space, drag the opposition out of position, and then we can exploit. The fullbacks offer the width and should be available for a switch at all times, and the 2 forwards should be looking to create combos, especially in a 2v2 situation where one can drop deeper and the other can run into the space behind that is created by this. Now, in the away tactic, it really more focuses on this, where one central forward drops and the other one kind of can go further forward. Now we can finally go into Football Manager and have a look at this 4-4-2 diamond that we have created. It's a beast. We're back here again, and today's tactic is not necessarily a plug and play. I do find most of my tactics are more plug and play, where you can just download it, put it in, and then just kind of works out by itself. But today you will have some simple instructions. They are simple instructions. There are going to be 2 tactics as well, so it's going to be a main one when you play the big teams away from home, but also I'm going to be giving you some tweak ideas for when you just play away games in general. Sometimes away games can be fairly difficult, and it can just be one tactical tweak that is needed to make a huge difference. But for the mentality of both tactics, it will be on attacking, focusing on getting players further forward, but also we are going to be trying to exploit those central areas and create some very good goal scoring opportunities. The attacking width set to fairly wide. We aren't going to be changing the attacking width, the approach play, all of this is all good by us, but the passing directness is on much shorter, the tempo is on much higher. For some odd reason in Football Manager, this works absolutely brilliant. So you are playing at a higher tempo, but you're not just logging the ball further forward, you're actually playing short passes and nice combinations between your players, and in Football Manager this combination works really well. But when you are playing against those bigger teams away from home, your passing directness then increases just to shorter and your tempo drops to standard. Now you can also just use this passing if you like this, if you prefer this, if you think this is a bit too risky for you, you don't necessarily have to use this. This also works just as fine, but I do feel that this will give better results. In the final third, we are sending in low crosses and working the ball into the box. Now in transition, when the possession has been lost, we are going to counter press, and when possession has been won, we are going to counter. But when you are playing away from home, you can just remove this. This has been very effective for me, especially in Serie A with the Napoli test. This worked extremely well, even at home as well. Sometimes I forgot to turn it back on, and at home it worked fairly well. We still won games 6-0 and 4-1 even without counter on, but generally it is on, and I Yeah, we're just going to stick with it. When the goalkeeper's distributing the ball, you can distribute the ball to the fullbacks, but when they get the ball in the wider areas, they may have little options. So you want to look to distribute the ball to the centre-backs. Now, away from home against the big teams, it is set to distribute to the fullbacks, mainly because I just wanted the ball away from goal. I don't like playing with the ball with our centre-backs against those big teams. If they win the ball, then it's straight through and goal. So against the big teams away from home, I am distributing the ball out in those wider areas to your fullbacks, but again, this is down to you. Off the ball, we are fairly aggressive, not overly aggressive, but we are fairly aggressive. So the standard defensive line will remain, and we are shifting our line of engagement to higher. Tighter marking, get stuck in, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, all ticked, and for the trigger press, we are set to more often. And that there wraps up the team instructions. Well, these are the team instructions for the main tactic. When you are playing against those bigger teams away from home, this is what the tactic looks like. Now again, the tempo, this is down to you. The tempo generally is actually on standard. For some odd reason, I've got it on extremely high. I might have been trying something out, so instead actually I will just leave it on extremely high, but just try out standard. I cannot remember the exact reason why I have it on extremely high, my bad. But as you can see, we are distributing the ball to the fullbacks, and for our possession it is exactly the same. But now it's time to look at those player roles and their instructions. In goal, we do have a sweeper keeper on support. Both fullbacks are fullbacks on attack who are going to be taking more risk and tackling harder. At the back, we've got two ball playing defenders on defend, and they have no added instructions. In defensive midfield, our number 6 is going to be closing down more. He's a defensive midfielder on support. The left side of the central midfielder is a Mazzala on support, and then the right side of the central midfielder is a Mazzala on attack, as we are looking to attack those half spaces. The number 10 is an attacking midfielder on the attacking duty, but he's going to be roaming from his position. Hopefully now the two Mazzalas are going to be dragging out the opposition from their defensive areas, and then Lucas Paqueta can kind of exploit any space. He can just move in, roam where he can find space, where he's able to pick up the ball. He can either drive, shoot, or create for the two strikers. Lastly, the two strikers up top, we do have a pressing forward on the right hand side, roaming from his position. On the left hand side, we have an advanced forward roaming from his position, as well. As I find this roaming from position at the attack 3 or the top 3, it works really well. Now for the away version, the right side of striker is now a pressing forward on support, who is now going to be also moving into the channels. Well, he would be moving into the channels if he was on the attacking duty as well. And now for the left side of central midfielder, he is now a box-to-box midfielder rather than a Mazzala. And that there wraps up all the player roles, the instructions, the team instructions, all of that goodness. And now it's time for us to play a game. I believe it's against Nice. I can't remember who it's against. But let's play that game. So we're playing Nice, and they are third in Ligue 1. So it's going to be it's not going to be a straightforward game. I wouldn't necessarily say difficult, but I also wouldn't say it's going to be a straightforward, easy 3 points game. And this is the team that we're going to go with. Wish us luck, and let's play this game. So here we are. First highlight, Hossam Aouar whips the ball in and is falling to Liso. He just about gets there. Here's Mendes. The ball now, Boateng plays a decent ball to Tolisso. He plays a lovely ball to Dembele. That should be 1-0. That should have been a goal. That's an awful finish. Here's Dragowski now. The Nice goalkeeper plays it to Dante, Tuanzebe to Debo. Plays it into Lamina, back to Tuanzebe, but here is Paqueta. He wins the ball, and it's 1-0 to Lyon. Tuanzebe, I struggle to pronounce his name there as well. He loses the ball to Lucas Paqueta. A lovely pressing by the Brazilian attacking midfielder. He wins the ball, and lovely placement into the bottom right goalkeeper's corner. And there we are, 1-0 inside the first 10 minutes. Here's Malvin Bard now, plays it into Lamina. Back to Bard, to Xavi. Is he going to lose the ball again? I mean, they're pretty risky with the ball in these deeper areas, but they work it out nicely these times. There's Atal now on the ball, plays it to Calvin Stengs. He drives toward our defence, but we win the ball. Kone, lovely defending there. Dembele, Lacazette, combining the two strikers, plays it to Mendes. Lucas Paqueta releases the third man. Oh my days, that should be the second goal of the game. Well, it should have been the third technically, but it's still 1. 30 minutes into the game. We've only had 4 shots at goal, which is a little less to what we usually see. But nonetheless, it is a decent performance. Nice are trying to get into the game now. Todibo throws himself at the ball, but here is a corner to Lyon. We whip it in. Diomande, and it is now 2-0 to Lyon at home. 42 minutes in. And Nice haven't had a highlight just yet. Though they had 5 shots, 1 half chance apparently, they actually haven't had a single highlight. But it's 2-0 to Lyon. It's now half-time, and you can do a bit of game management now at half-time. Well, we're going to take off Kone because he's got that light injury, and we're going to bring on Gusto because Leo can play left-back. And what we're also going to do is remove Counter. We're going to remove Counter, and that is it. We're good to go for the second half. And looks like there's going to be a highlight straight away. Here's Boateng to Liso. Gusto. Lucas Paqueta plays it back to Gusto. Down the line, he could have played it, but Tolisso didn't give him that angle. But lovely football here. Lovely combination play there. Oh, what a goal! Lucas Paqueta! That was a lovely goal. No, VAR, don't ruin it. Don't be losers. And his goal awarded. Lyon 3, Nice 0. That there was, look at the one-touch football. It's absolutely brilliant. This ball here from the bar as well. Even now he's got shifted to the left back, he still manages to get an assist. And he plays it into Lucas Paqueta, and it's now 3 goals. So even though the 2 strikers are dangerous and they are the main goal scorers, you have to watch out for that attacking midfielder. It's now 3 goals to the 0. Here's the ball now, plays it into Dembele, or looks for Dembele, but here's now Armin Guri on the ball. Bard plays it to Delort. He's going to run at our defence. We shouldn't be letting him. Here's Malvin Bard, Lamina. Oh, you've got to see that 1-2, and they've just hit the post. Lovely, lovely football from Nice, and they've just hit the post. I mean, shots-wise, we're not that dominant. Again, we usually are. As you can see, we had the most shots in the league by far as well. Oh, lovely stuff here. Dembele throw-on goal, but it's a lovely block by Xavi, kind of redeeming himself from that earlier mistake. I mean, defensively, we haven't had much to do. We've had 1 shot on. They've had 1 shot. Oh, they just hit the post now. Oh, here's Calvin Stengs, and of course they're going to score. Of course they're going to score. I mean, I'm not exactly sure why they're dominating in shots here. I'm not exactly sure why. We've been the dominant team as well. Especially we've removed Counter for the second half as well, which of course it might reduce the amount of shots as we're not throwing many bodies forward. But at the same time, oh, look at this lovely football again. Dembele, oh, it's off the line. That there would have been another lovely goal by Lyon, by Hedjagovski now in goal for Nice. Plays it to Xavi, to Debo. He just lobs it forward, but here's Boateng, Mendes to Liso. Oh, he could have played on the out. Oh, we've hit the bar ourselves now. Oh, this game is turning up. It's turning up right now. It's a bit late to turn up though, don't you think? But here is a last-minute corner for Lyon. They head it out. Lucas is surely going to get there. Yes, he does. Hossam Aouar whips it in. Far post to Lacazette. Oh, did it cross the line? No, it didn't. The keeper saves it, but that wraps up the game, I believe. Yes, it does. We both had 15 shots. I'm not exactly sure how, but you can see from the average rating, we were the better team, and we created some very, very nice opportunities. And that there wraps up today's game and, well, video as well. Lyon 3, Nice 1. I did say it's not going to be a straightforward game. It wasn't, but we were the better team and we scored 3 goals. But that wraps up today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you are new or you haven't yet, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like this video. Leave a comment as well. Any formation or team recommendations, then leave it in the comment section. But I'll see you guys soon. I love you and leave you. Peace out. Boop.